Hi guys, this is craftyalane again with another video for you today. So, just a couple weeks we went and took our first trip to Universal Studios Orlando, Florida, Islands of Adventure, and we went for our first family trip since the pandemic had started. It was a much needed trip for the kids' spring break, and wanted to do a video on the lessons learned while prepping for this trip and actually going out there. So get your scarf, souvenir, your butterbeer, and get ready for my top lessons learned of our first trip going to Universal Studios. This is based on the opinion of myself and my family, lessons learned of doing our own trip. It's always important to do your own research, to make phone calls if necessary, to get more information, and to do things for yourself. We're just offering great advice of things that we've learned in this video that we think are very beneficial. Tip number one, when looking for information on theme parks, if it's Universal, if it's Disney, or any other location, I highly recommend doing your research. So what I did was I looked at several YouTube videos of other people who've been going like so many times, professional, I call them professional travelers, I guess you call them. So several bloggers that I looked at and researched on tips on what they thought we should do or advice to give before going and things to get you prepared. Pinterest blog posts as well. I like looking on Pinterest, and that gives me a lot of advice on what to do for Universal. Next tip is to also do your research in regard to pricing. During the March to August months, the pricing is going to increase due to it being a popular season for Universal. So my recommendation is to do as much pricing as possible to research if they're offering any package deals, deals with the hotels, deals with the tickets and express passes, as much information as you can before making a decision to purchase something. That way you're fully aware and you can also budget for it. So tip number three, or next tip, do not wait to purchase your tickets at the gate. It's highly recommended that you're gonna get a better deal if you purchase them online ahead of time. Purchase them at the gate due to the pandemic and the limited number of people that they're admitting per day for the park get you at a disadvantage to where if they are running out of tickets and you get to the park, you won't be able to get in. Even if you're going early, one thing that we learned when we went was we got there right at 8 o'clock and it was crowded. And if you hadn't purchased your ticket early, more than likely you were not getting in. I have my Universal Studios lanyard, and my tip and idea for you today on lessons learned is to make sure you're getting express passes. You've got to get an express pass before going. Now, due to the season, there are going to be long wait times in line. There's going to be heat involved, especially in Orlando. I highly recommend that you get the express pass if possible. That was a lesson that we learned once we went down there. We had purchased our tickets in advance. We were hoping to get the express passes once we got there. We got there at 8 o'clock that morning. There were no express passes available. They were sold out. There's a limited number, and we tried to get one for the second day going. We couldn't get one, they were sold out. So I highly recommend, if you can put it in the budget, to prepare for to purchase an express pass. In addition to your Universal Studios ticket, it's going through those lines are fun the first time, but after that, I think we only got through 5 rides in a whole 8-hour day, which would be probably pretty good. But we wanted to experience like to the most benefit, especially from here on out if we want to go back again. So express passes are definitely a must for your next time. Okay, next tip is to, when you're going to the theme park, to be prepared by making sure you're hydrated. One thing that happened when we went to the trip, we went to Universal this time, everyone was fine, we had a good time. Our feet kind of hurt once we got home or to the hotel. But what happened to me was I got very dehydrated, and it wasn't even the real deal summer months of Orlando that can get scorching hot. This was early March and I just got completely dehydrated. I was tired. The next morning my head hurt. I just could not get better enough to try to do a second trip because we were going to do a 2-day trip to Universal, and we couldn't go the second day because I was just feeling terrible. So definitely a lesson learned is to, in between those meals, to make sure you're drinking water. Bring water bottles if you're able to. I know that there are requirements for the bags you can have in between in the theme park can vary based on rules, but it should be big enough to at least get 1 or 2 water bottles in and make sure your family stays hydrated. Next tip is to prepare for packing wise. I would definitely check the weather ahead in advance. With us, the weather was kind of up and down. It was cool in the morning, so we had our jackets, but then it got warmer towards the evening. Not too overwhelming, but it's still varied. So what you want to do is, if you're going to be going anytime after April, or even in between April and August, you're going to talk about like scorching heat and the sun bearing down. You want to make sure you're prepared. You want to make sure you're having on proper clothing. Tennis shoes are very much necessary. I think it's very much a must for the family, as well as any hats. So I am a big fan of eating food, not trying new things, so much to say, but I'm open to experimenting on new things. And one thing that I had heard about was the Mythos restaurant that was in the Atlantic's portion of the Universal Studios, which we were not able to go. By the time we got there, we were so hungry that we were just like, you know, we're gonna find a place. So what we did was we ended up stopping at the Hogwarts. We were in the Harry Potter area, and we were in Alley, and we went into Hogsmeade, and we had lunch there, and that was the best lunch that oh my gosh, we had I can't even talk straight because it was so good. We had fish and chips, so we had filet fish, or I think we had a cod and fries, and we had butterbeer, which is, oh my gosh, everybody has to have at least try the butterbeer one time, even though, you know, it's just something to say you've had. And my husband had the baked chicken with the roasted vegetables and the corn that was grilled. It was really good. So I highly recommend you go to the Harry Potter restaurant. All right, guys, those are all the tips we have for you today. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments, any advice, I would love to hear your experiences on how you enjoyed your trip to Universal. Did you have any issues, lessons learned as well? Send those comments on. I would love to hear from you guys on that. Until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.